Oops. Be good, Jason.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Tracy.
Hey,
Hey, Tracy.
hello.
All right, we're a couple minutes out, almost there.
Nick or Matt, could you let Charlie in?
Good evening.
Hi, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
Good evening, everybody.
You look
Good to
well
see
too
you.
rested.
No, it was anything but restful.
Brenda, how was your writing class?
I'm still writing.
Ah,
I hope it's an APA style. Or to use MLA.
You're kind of late on your assignment.
No, others had to complete theirs first.
all right, it is 6:30 according to my phone here, so it looks like everybody is on. Good evening, happy October 26th. So we're all set and ready to go. Melody, I'm going to turn it over to you for a short minute so you can talk about logistics.
All right, thanks, Mayor. Good evening. I just wanted to go over a couple logistics before we get started. Please make sure to keep your video on and to mute yourself when you're not talking. With regards to how board members are going to participate in the meeting, the mayor will be calling on each of you individually to provide comments and votes. When voting, please remember to identify yourselves by stating your name and your vote. If you would like to speak at any point during the meeting, please raise your hand and be mindful of your background. If we are in the middle of a presentation and you are raising your hand but not being called on, please feel free to speak up. Most importantly, we want to make sure that the board members are able to participate in this meeting fully. So if you experience any technical difficulties, please text me. Next, we need to go over the roll call. Please indicate if you are present. Mayor Ronald Pappas,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Brenda McMillan,
Present.
Commissioner Jason Hall,
Present.
Commissioner Ann Simpson,
Ann Simpson, present.
Commissioner Tracy Weslick,
Present.
Commissioner Pedro Morey.
Present.
Thank you. All members are present. Mayor, I'll turn it back over to you.
Great, thanks, Millie. Appreciate that. Well, again, welcome everybody. Board of Commissioners regular meeting, October 26, 2021. So this meeting is now called to order. If you would then please stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for a brief moment of silence. There we go. There we go. Start once again. There we got it. All right, very good. We'll start. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Very good. Thank you, everyone. All right, we're back on. So do we have, I understand maybe some changes on the agenda tonight? Town manager?
Yes, Mayor, if I may request in addition to the agenda under recognitions, it would be item F2, recognition of Union Power partnering with the town to add an electric vehicle charging station at Nesbitt Park, and your Parks and Rec Director, Dina Sabinski, would be the presenter.
Very good. So this is again, in recognition of the partnership with the power company. So move that down from, add it to the agenda under recognitions. This will be F2 then, correct?
Correct.
All right. Any other requests? All right, seeing none, can I have a motion on that, please, to adopt the agenda as amended?
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Very good. Thank you for that. Roll call vote. We'll start with Mayor Pro Tem McMillan.
Brenda McMillan, aye.
Commissioner Morey,
Morey, aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Commissioner Hall, aye.
Commissioner Westlake,
Commissioner Westlake, aye.
and back to you, Commissioner Simpson.
Commissioner Simpson, aye.
All right, all around. So that item is added under F2. All right, I understand there are no general public comments or other tonight, so we'll just move down to tonight's consent agenda. So do I have a motion for that, please?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Very good. All right, motion's been up. We'll start again with Mayor Pro Tem.
Brenda McMillan, aye.
Commissioner Morey,
Commissioner Morey, aye.
Commissioner Hall,
Commissioner Hall, aye.
Commissioner Simpson,
Commissioner Simpson, aye.
and back to you, Commissioner Westlake.
Commissioner Westlake, aye.
All right, the consent agenda is approved as published. We are going to jump right down to those recognitions. And I think we have Madison up right now. So Madison, when you log on there, the floor will be yours.
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you guys hear me?
Hi. Loud and clear.
All right, let me get to my screen. Okay, can you see my full slide there?
We do.
Okay, awesome. Well, I am before all of you tonight for a 5-year service award recognition for one of our employees here at Town Hall. This gentleman is Mr. Larry Pantori. Unfortunately, he cannot be here tonight. Him and our building inspectors are at an electrical building code class this afternoon. So in the picture, you can see Jeff and I, of course, before we got our haircuts, presenting this award to Mr. Pantori. And so Larry joined us on October 24th, 2016. as our code enforcement inspector. And so he oversees a lot of our minimum housing and commercial building code cases. He enforces our parking ordinance, our health and sanitation ordinance, and then our nuisance ordinances. And so I'll also like to brag on Larry as well. Beginning in 2020, he has taken on some of our building inspections task as our change out inspector. And so recently he obtained his mechanical level 1 certificate and is going to go get his electrical code certificate beginning in 2022. So he is a man of many trades. You see him out at our Parks and Rec events, volunteering for 12-hour days. So if you see him out and about, wish him congratulations and a job well done for 5 years with the town of Waxhaw.
Well, certainly congratulations to him. Everybody give him a thumbs up. He's been around. He takes a lot of heat from a lot of people in more ways than we ever would imagine. So it's quite the job. And I saw him as a master builder on the Fright Night thing the other night. He was out there during the week building stuff. So I think that all went well. So no, he's a great addition. He always seems to be a happy face, even though he gets got a tough job. So appreciate him. Tell him that we said so if he doesn't see this earlier. So appreciate that.
Of course.
Thanks, Madison.
Yeah, thank you all.
All right, we'll move over to Dina. Dina, if you can get on the screen here in a second, we'll let you have your part of this recognitions. She went to sleep there. Where'd she go? There she is coming up. There you are. Dina, the floor is yours.
Hello. Sure, I've got the right one. There we go. Right, tonight we would love to share with y'all about the partnership we have with the Union Power Cooperative on an EV charger at Nesbitt Park. So last spring, we were contacted by Union Power, and for a different whole reason of changing out a location for a power line in Nesbitt Park. And then that conversation led into a possible location for an EV charger that they wanted to bring to Waxhaw. And so through conversations, we came up with the location of Nesbitt Park. And at this time, the EV charger, we have two charging outlets in one station there. You see the picture with Mr. David Gross. He is the Vice President of Engineering. And myself and Jeff met them out there to take a little photo op. It is located near the large ball field, Field 1 at Nesbitt Park, across from the restroom and concession area. This, we also had a lot of help from Mr. Jake Thomas. He's the manager of marketing and engineer. He basically helped me walk through the process, and then I helped navigate our process for the permitting, which had a lot of help from our permitting department and from Matt on that as well. And I'm gonna let Jeff step in whenever you want to. Okay.
Sure. Thank you, Dina. I just want to say how excited we are to have this partnership with the Union Power Cooperative, and we've had conversations about bringing this forward to the town campus site as well. And so we will be prepared underground, whether it's through Union Power or just our own means, to have some type of electric vehicle charging station on the town campus as well. But we really appreciate, in this particular instance, Union Power reaching out and being willing to do this at Nesbitt Park. I understand it has gotten some pretty good usage so far. So it's a pretty cool app called ChargePoint. He was showing us how it works, and it's really neat. And it's I think gonna serve a lot of people well in that location, and hopefully we can bring that to different locations in town as well.
And we also are working on bringing it out to our new downtown park as well. So again, wonderful things and partnerships that we're navigating through our park system. So the times that the station's available is from 7:30 a.m. to 10 p.m. That's basically the park hours. And then there's a small percentage of usage for the kilowatts for doing the power itself. And like Jeff said, there's a wonderful app that will give you locations of where the EV chargers are at and how to use them. Again, just been a great partnership with Union Power on this, and I look for future ones. Any questions?
I tell you, we're definitely growing. We're no longer Mayberry. So this is a great thing to have happen in the town. I'd like to see more of those around us, and certainly Jeff is consideration with your team going forward. A lot more locations when properties come to us for their enhancement. I think this would be a good thing to add everywhere. We can have really an electrified grid out here. Those are just charges, I understand right now, from the power grid and not from solar. Would that be correct?
Yes, there's a actual box near this location that feeds that unit.
Okay, that'd be great. Well, it'll be fun for those. There's quite a few electric vehicles around our town, and so I'm sure they're all gonna be happy to use it and kind of get a feel for that. So kudos to you guys to bring that forward. That's quite an accomplishment. You guys are kind of under the radar on that a little bit, even though we've known about it and talked about it, but all of a sudden it's here. So that's great. Appreciate that.
No worries.
Any other comments from board on this matter? See any hands up? Nowhere around. Okay, we are going to move on. We're going to move on to presentations. We have the Waxhaw hotspot highlights. We've got Megan Weatherford from Haven Creative to join us in a couple of seconds here. She'll be able to sign on. We'll let her present. Megan, the floor is yours when you get all connected in. Got to unmute yourself.
That would help, wouldn't it?
That would help.
Are you able to see my screen?
Partial. You're sharing both. Do you want us to see both slides or?
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem and Commissioners. It's an honor to be here tonight. I'm Megan Weatherford from Haven Creative, the town's strategic communications team. I want to take this time to share the goals we've been working towards with the customer service team and how we've been able to move the needle using HubSpot. HubSpot is our CRM, which means Customer Relationship Management System. It's a way for us to store information and communicate better with our customers, which in this case happen to be our residents. Okay, you can still see the slides, correct? Okay. All right. Haven and the customer service team set these goals this year, and we're improving the customer service experience and streamlining it for the internal team. We're doing this through forms, which lead to our service hub, which is a ticketing housing system. We're doing this through payments, and we're doing it with automated and proactive communication, because HubSpot also serves as our email blast system, which is a way that we can communicate with the residents easily. Before launching HubSpot, with the new Waxhaw website, a request could be submitted by form, but that information would be sent directly to the email inbox of the Waxhaw staff member that was responsible for it. The staff member would then have to manually respond and keep up with the request and correspondence all within their own inbox. Now in HubSpot, when a customer fills out a form, something like you see right here on your left, it goes to our service hub and creates a ticket. So each form submitted becomes these tickets. The information can be stored and moved through what we call pipelines, and our pipelines have different statuses, which range from waiting on the resident, waiting on Waxhaw, or closed. So anyone on the customer service team that has access will be able to see the resident's initial request that comes in via form, and they would be able to update the resident where they are in the process. This really helps the team communicate with the residents better because of the visibility, and we can provide consistency throughout. So we're really breaking down silos when we do this. Automation. So we have also automated a lot of this process through HubSpot. So where before the internal team would have to manually respond to each request, we've automated some of these emails to be sent as confirmation. So the residents have a record if they ever need to refer to it. It also automates a reference number. So if they ever called, they could reference that number and let us know what we are looking for in the system. Use workflows like you see here that have certain triggers. So once those triggers are met, it automatically will send the emails. This saves the internal team time, and it builds trust with our residents because we have a consistent message and timely communication. Although the emails that we're talking about may be automated, it can still be personalized. Here you can see the words highlighted in orange. Those are what we call our personalization tokens. Those changed based on what the contact has filled out in the form. Payments is another way that we're improving the customer service experience. We've launched 8 HubSpot forms with the payment option on waxhaw.com. That means the resident isn't being redirected to another site to pay. I do want to mention that HubSpot does not store that payment information, nor can our internal team see it. We can confirm if a payment has been made, though. By using HubSpot payments, which only charges per transaction and not a monthly fee, we've also been able to add the processing fee to the final payment. And according to the customer service team, we're saving the Waxhaw team internal staff time because of this. We believe we are being good stewards of the town resources by saving time through automated processes, breaking down these silos between the departments, and strengthening trust with residents by improving the customer experience. Do you have any questions for me?
Any questions for Megan up there? Megan, I think that's wonderful. My question was, can they pay their property tax on this spot as well?
We have not implemented the properties taxes. Is that what you're asking about, the taxes?
Right.
Because of the storage issue. We are not comfortable storing that kind of information here. So we're still working on that at that time. But once we come up with a solution, I can let you know what we decide with that.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions on that from people out in the streets just asking, what can they pay on there? So utilities, fines, things like that, whatever comes up, charged against their person or their property, correct?
Correct. And correct me if I'm wrong, Melody, but they can pay property taxes online. It's just not through HubSpot at this time.
That's correct.
Okay, very good. All right, it looks like a great program. It's certainly going to save a lot of time, effort, and energy, and we get a little bit of relief from the cost of that, which the town was at one time absorbing for those fees, for the transaction fees. So everywhere else in the world, I think, charges you transaction fees. So I think we have any estimates on what that might save us? Any guesses that's out there? Or do you know?
We are hoping to take a little bit more time, 6 to 8 months, to kind of go through the savings and get a little bit more data, and then we can get back to you on that.
All right, not a problem. All right. Well, it looks like a great program. Any questions for Megan around the horn here? I'm looking up at the screen. See no hands up. Megan, thank you very much. I'm looking forward to getting that thing rocking and rolling and really getting the data after some time, like say, maybe even as much as a year later, but it looks like it's just not only a time saver and a cost saver, but certainly brings benefit to our citizens. So appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
All right. All right, we'll move on down here, down to public hearings. There are no public hearings scheduled, no old business. We're going to move down to new business. We have the America Rescue Plan budget adoption. So this one will be up to the town manager, Jeffrey Wells. Jeff, floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, everybody. So hopefully everybody sees the full screen now. Is that correct?
We do here.
All right, great. So this evening, I will discuss the American Rescue Plan budget. First off, I'll start talking about the American Rescue Plan, or what we refer to as the ARP basics, just some general information about our responsibility and our allocation as part of the program. Then we'll talk specifically about the projects that we have, that we are utilizing these funds to build within the town limits. And then lastly, of course, answer any questions prior to requesting the board to adopt the budget so we can move into implementation of some of these projects that we have planned to accomplish. So first off, the ARP basics. So we will be receiving total of over $5.4 million from the U.S. Treasury. That will be divided into 2 disbursements. And we have received our first disbursement, which is half of that amount. The specific amount is $2,732,352.54. We expect to get that same amount in a second disbursement next year. This first disbursement we received in July of 2021. You remember they established the American Rescue Plan back in the spring, and then we adopted a project fund for that to be on the ready for it back in May of 2021. So the second disbursement, which will be the same amount, will come in 2022. It will come though at least a year after this first disbursement. So our expectation would be that it will be received sometime in the late summer or fall of next year. And then of course, when we get to that point, then we will adopt and revise this project budget when we do receive those funds. So we do have a guidance document. It is the interim final rule. And as we understand, a final rule is coming sometime in the near future, but has not been released yet. But they are encouraging folks that are ready to move along to go ahead and utilize the guidance from the interim final rule, because the expectation is it's probably not going to change much. They come out every few weeks with some updated guidance, like if people out there in the country have some specific questions about something, or they need to clarify something, they provide some what are called frequently asked questions updates, and we've been following those as well. I can't say it's wonderful reading. It's obviously very long and very mundane stuff, but also very important stuff. The reporting requirements vary depending on what type of local government unit you are. So we are what are considered a non-entitlement unit, basically the smallest division of local government identified by the U.S. Treasury Office. We're less than 50,000 people, so that's what puts us into that category. So we are required to provide a report once per year. The first report was supposed to be due this month, October 31st. We received word from the U.S. Treasury that that has been moved 6 months back to April 2022. And so that's when our first reporting requirement will be due. So we understand. And it's also important to keep in mind that these funds will be subject to audit, just like every other bit of federal funds that anyone receives, and that's typically is audited at some point thereafter. For example, the coronavirus relief funds that we received last year are currently being audited. I think they're still in the middle to latter stages of auditing that. Of course, we've been answering questions as provided, and that's being done primarily through the county, who is administering the funds there. I would assume that if we get audited here, that it would be through us, since we'll be since we've already received the funds, and then we'll be managing them as we go along. So the guidance provides for municipalities, I would say, a fairly narrow path as to what is eligible. But luckily, what is eligible, I think, meets a lot of what our current needs are within the town. One part of it that we're really happy to see is broadband. It's an important portion of the guidance. And we happen to have a couple of big projects where public Wi-Fi would really serve us well. It's something that we've been wanting to do in downtown for some time. And so these funds will give us the opportunity to do that, as well as in the downtown park as part of that project. So keep in mind, this will pay for the hardware for the underground and the above ground hardware for these projects. It will not pay for the regular service costs, i.e. the monthly costs through some provider. So we'd also look to upgrade some fiber optic lines in town and do some extensions. You probably recall that we have an existing CIP project from McDonald House to the meeting place to provide a fiber optic line. We will do that. We would just repurpose that CIP over to the ARP budget. We'll also be extending that project, though, to the library and then to the public services building, which ultimately, once the town campus is built, will become just a storage and maintenance area on the south side of downtown park. And then lastly, is to purchase some additional fiber optic supplies and materials in advance of a project that we plan to have in the CIP next year, which is the police department to town campus run of fiber optic. And discussing with our IT staff, their discussions that they've had with some vendors, there is some concern about the supply of that moving forward. So we thought that it was best to go ahead and acquire that so that we're not waiting around any longer than we have to be able to move along with that project. So we are taking a little bit of initiative there to go ahead and get some of that supply in advance of that project with these funds. Next category is green infrastructure, and our downtown park project fits very well within those parameters. So we are looking to allocate just over $1.5 million of the downtown park project to the ARP budget. That would cover the utilities such as water and sewer, as well as your water quality and water quantity management, i.e. drainage, stormwater retention. And then lastly would be greenways and sidewalks, or what the ARP guidance calls public outdoor recreation space. And so this part of the project would be funded through the ARP, where the remainder of the budget has already been established through our general fund and capital improvement plan. So and add them both up together, and we have a fully funded downtown phase 1 project that we will hopefully see some good bids on this next week on November 2nd. Next, we have a category of pandemic response, and that would cover basic supplies and materials just to be able to continue to provide information and ability for people to combat the potential virus. And what we mean by that is the ability to purchase media, such as signs, sandwich boards, things like that on a continuing basis as we need to, as well as disinfectant, sanitizer, foggers, all of that good stuff. We have a number of events, like the 2 big events that we had this past month, and keeping up the supply for that, among all of the other programs that we do with Parks and Rec, things like that. So you go through those materials and supplies a lot quicker than you think you do. And then salaries and also benefits for public safety employees that are dedicated to responding to the public health emergency. For us, that's our police department, and that would cover all of the staff that's not admin staff, as well as our fire marshal. And it would cover 50% of their salary and benefits would be funded through the ARP budget. This is consistent with the Coronavirus Relief Fund as far as the eligible employees. One minor change that we did to this that we did in between your 2x2 session and this session is the safety coordinator position in Parks and Rec was allocated to this budget, but since that time, we have decided to shift those duties over to the office of the fire marshal. And so we did not include that position in this. And so that was a net of about $30,000. And so we moved that over to the reserve. And so that's why the reserve is now $64,000 instead of the, I believe it was $32,000 previously. But we didn't stop there with the green infrastructure. Didn't stop with the downtown park. We had another place that we thought was a very good candidate, and that was Nesbitt Park. And that's the project that is currently in your CIP for this year. And that is to do some work out there to the drainage. Everybody knows that when it rains hard at Nesbitt Park, there's the potential for flooding. We need to come up with some better solutions for getting that water out of there quicker. And that's what this budget will help to fund. And then lastly, we have public plaza and pedestrian improvements. These are some small time improvements to downtown. Just some more aesthetic things like adding some additional planters, revamping our trash cans, some additional seating downtown, but also adding a little bit of shade, particularly to the TAP grant area, where everybody knows how bad the sun beams down on that in the late afternoons. So that would hopefully provide some relief to folks who would be able to enjoy that plaza a little bit better with a little bit of shade. And then, as I mentioned before, we have the $64,000 in reserve. And of course, that would help to make whole any cost overruns. And of course, if we have some additional sitting there, that can be allocated to another project, or of course, it can be allocated to something in next year's disbursement as well. Commissioner Morey had a great idea of utilizing some of that towards our HERO program. Our Parks and Rec staff is looking for some opportunities there where some of that could be expensed, which we would come back to once they've had time to do that, that research. So, and again, as I mentioned before, just the reminder that the board has already established the ARP project fund that was done back in May of 2021. We had to establish that fund in order to receive the funds, which we did in July of 2021. And of course, last step in order to start expending those funds would be to approve the budget and budget ordinance, which you have in your packet. The staff recommendation is to approve the American Rescue Plan budget and budget ordinance based on the U.S. Treasury's first fund disbursement. And I'll certainly be happy to answer any questions that the board may have. Thank you.
All right, any questions? I see. Okay, Commissioner Simpson, I see one hand up. Please go ahead.
Hey, Jeff, on the broadband, would any of that money be able to use towards the light poles since they will have that capability?
Yes, the answer would be yes, as far as putting the hardware on there. So you could allocate part of that towards the street light project if we needed to. But right now, we're hoping to pay for that through our current CIP project. But if we need to allocate some for the hardware there, we certainly could, yes.
But wouldn't it be good to allocate that and then free up our CIP money to invest in another project?
It certainly would. And if we have that opportunity, we will. We haven't completely decided on the smart pole and the design of that yet. So we want to leave ourselves some flexibility with that before we move forward with that.
Very good. Any other questions from the commissioners? I'm looking up at the screen. All right, so this is a pretty simple one for us. We've gone through it a lot over the past few months, but this is basically allowing us to accept these funds in an adjustment to the town budget. So should there be no further questions on the matter? Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. I'll be looking for a motion on this one. Anybody like to bring forward the motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
Great.
To
Commissioner Moore,
adopt
go
the
ahead.
I'll make a motion to adopt the American Rescue Plan Budget Ordinance number 2021-020 based on U.S. Treasury's first fund disbursement.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner Moore. All right, we'll go around the horn again. We'll start again with Mayor Pro Tem McMillan.
Brenda McMillan, aye.
Commissioner Westlake,
Commissioner Westlake, aye.
Commissioner Hall.
Commissioner Hall, aye.
Where did we go here? We moved around. Commissioner Simpson.
Commissioner Simpson, aye.
All right, who did I miss? The screen moved around. I forgot where I was here. Who did I miss? Anybody? No, I think I got everybody, right? Commissioner Morey.
Commissioner Moore, aye.
Very good. Okay, all in. I think I got us all counted for. All right, so we're aye all the way across. So that'll be nice to get that thing going. And, certainly we have some reserves. It's good to hear that any underspent items can be rolled over into the next year or used as we need to accordingly. So it's nice to see this come to us. So it allows us to move the town forward according to our plan. So thank you, everyone, on that one. All right, well, we're going to move over to the leadership report. So I'm going to let the town manager take over again. Jeff?
Well, thank you, Mayor, but I don't really have anything additional to share this evening, so I'll let the other folks chime in.
Oh my goodness, you're going to give all the time to Dina. Look at that. All right, Dina, you are up. Parks and Rec. Come on back on.
I'll go fast.
We have more time.
I don't know, Matt might want to talk.
We'll tag team Matt and Charlie.
Wait, come on. There we go. All right, so I'm going to give you a heads up, all Park and Rec of Waxhaw, about programs and events and a special event coming up on this Friday. We are now in our fall program guide. Lots of cool things happening, so please check it out on our website and our Facebook page. And we also have physical copies in some of our businesses downtown and at the Park and Rec office and at Town Hall. Walking clubs every Tuesdays and Thursdays. They have a great group meet at the McDonald House. Please join them at 8 a.m. We also have our senior coffee, our adult coffee hours coming up this Thursday. And we have a wonderful health and wellness about breast cancer awareness at that coffee hour. Please go ahead and sign up and we would love to see you there. Senior fitness, our outdoor fitness is happening next week. Still time to sign up. I'd love to have you a part of that. And that's on Mondays and Wednesdays. Miss Justine's taking our citizens out for a little nature hike at dusk for the suspension bridge. We need you to sign up ahead of time. I'd love to have you a part of it. It's going to be a really cool night walk to the suspension bridge. New is a home brewing class. We're partnering with one of our downtown businesses, Dream Chasers, on how to make beer. And so if you're interested on how to do that, please sign up. We also have adult charcuterie coming up again. It's always a very popular class. There is still time to be a part of our veterans clay sculpture class. That starts in about 2 weeks. Mr. Peter is a wonderful artist and instructor. We would love to have you part of that. Also, we have little kids and adult cooking. So it's kind of parents or grandparents and me kind of cooking. I would love to see that class and love to see the pictures of multi-generational working together with a cooking class. Next week, we are doing all things fall for Hero Project. So Skiro Craft at Barnes, and then we have fall games at Town Creek the following week. Please come and join us. And that gives you your schedule all the way to December. Again, on the website and our Facebook page. All right, first I want to give a shout out to tons of wonderful town employees and our committee members and volunteers that helped out this past weekend with Fright Night. So Fright Night's a little bit different from our other events where there's a lot of setup because we do this amazing, scary, spooky maze. And then setting up with our businesses downtown, which I want to give a shout out to our town hall staff that came out and helped us with the maze and helped out with setting up or making props. Also, Larry, Nick, and Miss Ashley on helping out with the maze, and Miss Ashley helping out with our downtown businesses, getting them all straight and ready for candy pass out. The help also was public service help built our walls for the maze and help clean up all the cones afterwards because we have to do a lot of logistics set up for that. So I appreciate their help. And as always, the Park and Rec team totally rocked it out as usual, and so grateful for all of them. Helped with just the layout, the theme, the props, getting everything set up and clean up. So the community corner temporary parking is open already, and everything is pretty much back to normal. So that's quite a accomplishment through all the weekend festivities. Also, we want to give a shout out to Waxhaw, our T-Mobile business. They sponsored the silent disco. And then also Lowe's of Waxhaw sponsored a lot of our in-kind supplies needed for the maze. And Dream Chasers supplied the band for the adult party, which very appreciative. Coming up, we have the Shred Day. Miss Melanie and I are tag teaming, getting that ready, and that's on November the 6th at the Waxhaw Police Department parking lot. Please only bring your paper items to destroy, and we will see you in the car rider line and dropping those off on the 6th. Coming up is Veterans Day on the 11th. We actually have it at 11 a.m. In our downtown in front of the Wall of Honor. So please join us for that. The following weekend, we have Litter Sweep, and that's where we're focusing on some of our town roads. But we need lots of volunteers to help with that to keep Waxhaw beautiful. So we look forward to seeing you out there. And please contact Mr. James and get you all signed up. So this Friday is a momentous thing for Waxhaw. We are having our downtown groundbreaking ceremony on the site of our new downtown park. We're going to start gathering at 2:30 and have the ceremony start at 3. So please come and get your seat and be ready to enjoy the site. And we have refreshments and a few giveaways to our next step in our park system and for the town. And I'm so grateful for all the support to get us to this point. And like Jeff said earlier, we have the bids come back on Tuesday, the 2nd, and crossing our fingers for awesome bids. And then we will come back to y'all to be awarded on the 9th. We're always looking for volunteers. So if you'd like to volunteer with us, please contact Mr. James. We have wonderful park places for you to volunteer and for events and programs. Miss Justine's working on that spring guide. We're looking for all types of instructors, from a craft that you do at home to an artist to a baker. We would love to have you a part of the Park and Rec family. So please reach out to us, and we would soon have you part of our classes. And I leave you with our vision and mission as always. And if you have any questions, I can answer those for you.
Certainly a big shout out to your crew out there the other day. They knocked it out of the park again. I got a lot of good comments from everybody out on the streets. I was out there a couple of times during the day myself. What a great event. So guys are just rocking it. Can't say much more. So I saw another hand to go up. Town Manager Jeff Wells.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just one more thing to add is that staff is on site there this week doing some small time clearing work just of underbrush. They've been on site the last couple of days out there. So that's just an FYI.
Well, that's great. That's a start. We should take some more pictures of that one. So get our photographer out there. That's awesome. Any questions for Miss Dina around the horn here? Besides Ann playing with her cat over there. I see that. So usually that's Tracy's cat did you trade cats or something there? So anyway, Dina, thank you very much. Anything else to add to anybody? I think we're good. Once around the horn. All right, do we have something from our engineering department, Jeff? Is something that they want to contribute today? So we'll let them have the floor this next time up here.
Yes, we do. We have Matt Hubert.
Matt, you're up. Welcome. Matt Hubert is our town engineer and assistant town manager. Welcome to the party, Matt.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Just a quick update on what we've got accomplished downtown and what we still have yet to do regarding the sidewalk to the mill and the pedestrian bridge improvements. So the sidewalk and the crosswalk are all in place. The rapid beacon is finally installed and functional, fully functional, and that's outstanding work by both Public Services and our engineering team, Duke Power, CSX. And so long time in coming and finally able to kind of put that one in the books. We are waiting for the decorative railing to finish fabrication before that gets installed, but that'll happen next month. And at that same time period, we've proceeded to order the custom lumber to begin the step addition to the eastern portion of the Ped Bridge. That'll take a couple weeks. And while that's in process, Public Services will go ahead and begin preparing that side of the sidewalk area. And we're gonna have to take down a crepe myrtle, build a small retaining wall to receive those steps, and then finally connect those to the sidewalk that was just completed. And then when that's complete, we'll move on to removing the existing steps on the other side, both the north and the west sections, and replacing them with new kind of more ADA compliant steps. They won't be as steep and won't be as narrow. And then we're also planning to replace the walking surface on the steps as well, or across the bridge. It's pretty worn down, and so we'll put a fresh coat of stain, solid stain on them, and add some they call shark bite or basically sand to that, so it stays with a good friction, so it doesn't get slippery when it's wet. And when you put fresh paint on, it's more often slippery. So all around, I think we're also going to be replacing some of the railing, tightening up some of it, so the whole bridge by the end of our efforts will be like brand new and be a lot more functional, and I think add a lot more to your experience going downtown. Any questions?
That's a great thing to have happen over there. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised though how many people use that sidewalk. Oh my goodness, it's almost like a freeway some days. And I came around the curve a couple of days ago, coming back from Monroe, and I saw them testing that beacon. You cannot miss that thing. It lets you know somebody wants to be in it. So what a great addition. Safety of our residents in our town, all of our visitors out there, but you'd be surprised how much that's getting used already. So thank you guys for all of that. I know that was a joint effort internally. So thanks to all of your team, Matt, to make that a reality. It's really looking good. It'd be good to have the rest of it in the bridge redone. And we look forward to that. So thank you for that. Any other thoughts or questions for Matt across the board here? All right, no hands up there. Matt, thank you very much for everything. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, we'll drop down to the Board of Commissioners. Any comments, thoughts? Anybody who wants to mention anything tonight? Don't want to go home early. There we go. Commissioner Morey.
I just wanted to once again thank the entire staff of Parks and Rec and the volunteers, all the staff committee. I happened to be there early for a charity motorcycle ride, and I saw staff getting an early start, and I know that the event didn't end till way into the night. Somebody had mentioned 12-hour days before. I think it goes way more than that, and it just it shines the dedication that we see from staff. They put in 110%, and it does not go unnoticed. So I just wanted to say thank you to all of them. It was a great day, that and Autumn Treasures. And it's just, it almost seems like it doesn't stop, but it's so great for the town. And I know a lot of folks are just ready to be back out. And that was visible that day. So thank you again. Great job.
It was great job. All right. Thank you, Pedro. I appreciate you saying that. You're right. There's a lot of effort by a lot of people, a lot of long days. They're out there, way before sunup at this time of year and well into the night. And then by the time they're done, you hardly notice that they were even there. So they've got it so dialed in, all of them, and they know what to do. They know their jobs and they know how to execute it. So we are, we'll say this generally to the town manager and all the staff, we are very appreciative of all of their efforts. Please do know that. So, all right, anybody else, any comments as we go around here? All right, Charlie, you have anything to add? We were listening to your entire trip, but I don't know if Matt would allow you.
No, had a wonderful time. First time in a year and a half we'd had a vacation. I appreciate you allowing me to go away, and I hope that Craig filled in. I had a little bit of a brief conversation with him, but I hope that he did well for you.
It worked out really well. He did a good job. It was seamless, but we don't want to let him know that, or that. How's that?
I won't tell him.
Don't tell him.
I'm going to tell him that he messed up bad.
All right. So any other comments, thoughts for tonight from you guys? Seeing nothing, no hands up. We have nothing for closed session. So I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn. I have a motion, please.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn all the way around. Mayor Pro Tem McMillan.
Brenda McMillan, aye.
Commissioner Morey.
Commissioner Morey, aye.
Commissioner Hall.
Commissioner Hall, aye.
Commissioner Westlake.
Commissioner Westlake, aye.
Up to Commissioner Simpson.
Commissioner Simpson, aye.
Very good. We are all adjourned. Great job, everybody. Say goodnight, Mary Ellen.
Be safe, everybody.
Likewise.
Good night.